What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Casper Chronicles. Of course, it's your boy Casper. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. It was really kind of difficult with trying to meet up in person to do one of my teammates' deck profile, Eddie, who you're going to see shortly after this. So he ended up recording his deck profile, and here it is.
Okay, deck profile. This is for Cody's YouTube channel. I played on his 3v3 team, got 4th after top cut, because we didn't want to play for 3rd because it probably didn't matter for 3rd or 4th. I played Plunder Adventure, and it went pretty well. Here we go. 3 golden hair, 3 white beard, 3 blue beard, 3 black eye, and then 1 red beard. This is a brick. This is your 1-card starter. This is 1-card starter if you play Clarin Rushka going 2nd. And these are centers you want to max out on. That's for the Plunder monsters, the Plunder spell and trap cards. When we play the spells is 2 the fusion spell. You don't use the fusion summon, you use it for its graveyard effect, which allows you to equip a Plunder monster on the field with a Plunder monster in the deck, or the emblem, which I do not play. When you use that in tandem with a field spell in the graveyard, it feels so when it's in the graveyard will set itself and then target a Plunder card in the spell and trap card zone and add it back to hand, so it makes it a pseudo Rhoda. These 2 cards together make it a pseudo Rhoda, and this adds you any Plunder card you want and boosts the attack of all Plunder monsters you control by 500 for every Plunder card in the spell and trap card zone, which is really good. Mixture is really big and really hard to beat over, which is really irrelevant in this meta. We play the Adventure package because there's no reason not to with this deck. The deck works really well with it because of Faithful Adventures. Effect with Faithful Adventure, we'll get into that in a moment. We play 3-2-1-1-1. Right isn't very good to draw multiples unless you want a second trying to bait out stuff, because a lot of cards that negate this format negate activations, and right says you can only activate it once per turn. So if they negate activations, you're free to do it again. Faithful Adventure effect to protect an equipped monster also works with the Plunder cards, so that's pretty relevant. And then 3 kaiju. We play 3 kaijus, 1 slumber, 3 tactics, 3 droplet, and then 2 dark wood and more. These are perfect. I played going first, but in case I lost die roll, the hand traps weren't that good, honestly. If I'm gonna play a hand trap, I would rather play a hand trap that either ends turns, or just not play them at all. I'd rather play the board breaker cards, because the board breaker cards are just better going 2nd. The reason I play Dark Ruler at 2 and Forbidden Droplet at 3 is mainly because Forbidden Droplet, discarding isn't that bad. A lot of your cards have graveyard effects, so you don't really neg, and sometimes you want to only negate 1 or 2 things. Whereas Dark Ruler negates everything. Granted, Dark Ruler is a better card. Like against Splites, you want this one, and even against Tier Element, if they're playing the Synchro Tier Element deck, or they have or if you're able to bait out the background there and they fusion on to make like Dracosopelia, Winda, and like some other shenanigans, you can use this. This is also really good. But in general, this is still probably preferable over this. Maybe in the future we'll change the ratios up. This is supposed to be proxy for this. I didn't have a 3rd one. Shouts to Eddie for letting me borrow this. And then that's all for that. For the board breaker cards. And then the ones we play, didn't really use mine that much, just use it to negate, to bait out spell negation. This is pretty good overall versus Splight and Tier Elements. Kind of wish it was a 3, but kind of wish it doesn't. Duster, obvious. And then this Foolish Burial allows you to have access to either engine, Adventure, or Plunder Patrol if you have one engine without the other. And then Terraforming to get the field spell or mine if you really need to do that. Let's go to extra deck, field centers and tokens, White Oral Whale, and Dragite. You don't go into this too much. Usually you have a very good matchup into background decks to begin with. It's just really Floodgates that are the issue, which we cited in cards for that. But you go into this fairly decent amount if you don't want to go into if you summon a token and you have a tuner in hand, because the golden hair and whitebeard are tuners. You go into this if you don't want to summon the Griffin, and this baits on negation. If they effect negate with like Shishao, something like that, and you go in battle phase, crash with Shishao, and then this effect will bring it back. For the first effect is explain its all effects. It's First effect is one single summon, basically lightning vortex the board. Second, it can attack twice, monsters twice, does piercing, and if it destroys a battle or card effect, you can banish a water to summon it back. So it'd be a pretty good card. Dragout's just spell trap nation, and if you play Nib in the main, you can always activate its first effect to reveal like top 5. If you hit a Nib, you can bounce something back. Non-targeting bounce, by the way. So that's pretty good. But you don't go into that much. The cards, the XE monsters you go into a lot is Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. If you have the open Plunder starter and an extender, you usually can go into this and still make the full like this plus Link 2. And if you have the adventure stuff, you can do that with a Griffin. Alma Rush for the one card engine. Clan Rushka for one card engine. One card engine with golden hair. One card engine with one card starter. Sorry, one card starter with golden hair. One card starter with Redbeard. And then the 2 ships, and then 3 Blackbeard. You always want to end with this card because this effect allows you to tag out into these, while also drawing a card. So that makes it like Ash bait. Like if you want to Ash something, you bash one of these. You Ash this specifically. You specifically Ash this, but you can usually bait out Ash with other ways. And you go into these 2 the most because this always has people play Ash a lot. Sometimes you make this not for its effective banish back row, but for its attack boost effects, so it makes it harder for them to kill your guys. And you do this for the effect monster banish. This is good still. If they play lights, you definitely want this one over this because this is the actual effect negation. And it can add, when it's equipped, it can add you any plunder card. When it's equipped, when it's plundered, when you do this effect and it's equipped with a plunder card, you get to add any plunder card from back to hand. Yeah. So that's the extra deck. And then side deck. 2 Nib, 3 Crow. Went to side of this end if I get faced against Tier Elements or Splight. I didn't know it was going first or second because that's good overall in this format. This was the Ultimate Slayer. My teammate Chewy let me borrow it and I gave it back. We didn't have room. We didn't have a third Nib because I forgot my third Nib, and I actually forgot all my Nibs. And Chewy had 2, so. We have 2 Nibs, 1 Slayer. Slayer in theory is pretty good because you play all the extra deck types, so you can always just send whatever and out a problem card. I will say though, if Tier Elements comes better, you maybe want to play this and you play Natis too over like the Claire and Rishka because you never really go into Claire and Rishka a lot anyway. So you do that just to out any one of their fusion cards like Winda or Dracostabelia. 3 twin, 3 evenly match. Always went to these for back row hate. You already have a good back row matchup anyway because you trade easier. You trade really well with them, but it's always nice to have blowouts. And then 3 spell fragments. This should probably be something else, but I didn't know what to put in. And that's the deck. Matchups was round 1 Dinomorphia. Round 2 it was Flunderies. 3 was 60 card Tangy Sword Soul. 4 was Altergeist. 5 was Splight. That Splight deck was the only loss I suffered in the entire tournament. We lost round 3 of Swiss because I told my teammate to Call the Grave a card and they chose not to. They chose to Call the Grave another card and we lost it. We lost that one, but we still made top 4. And in top 4 we lost the semifinals top 4. And that one I played Splight, won that one 2-1, and then we didn't play out finals to see about 3rd or 4th because they were the same pricing. I think overall we were put down as 4th place. Yeah, that's the deck profile. Deck's pretty good. I would probably put 2 Lightning Stones in here for Tier Elements because, and then Tier Elements getting popular, and then next 2v3 you're playing, which should be in like the end of the month. I would expect to see a lot of those Tier Elements for that. Other than that, shout outs to Chewy and Cody for letting me on their team, and Chewy for letting me borrow those cards. Shout out to Eddie who let me borrow his Tactical Talents because I only had 2. Shout out to White Sand Shooter Games and David for letting the tournament happen, and then shout out to Walter Herman for judging and being a TL. And later.